I just thing I hadn't tried is really just breaking everything all the way back down and starting again. And for me, that's what I did. I just broke everything down. I sold my cars. If I had to get anywhere, I'd run. And just stripped my whole life back down and had to push people aside and, at arm's length, really, just so I had time to myself completely and I wasn't influenced by anyone else. And I started this new sport that I knew I was going to be vulnerable in, just, a sport that I hadn't done before and being stuck out in the ocean by myself. And if anything was going to come up, I would have to deal with it myself. And even after the first day paddling, I had these emotions that come through, and just through the physical pain, the new pain that I hadn't felt before, being in that position on my knees, paddling, my lower back and everything. So I knew it was something special that was going to happen.
Yeah, so was it, you know what I mean, the first time you got on your knees on a paddleboard and then the first day at Coolangatta when you left, what sort of...
Yeah, it's about 8 months.
Right.
8 months of training, full time.
Okay.
And,
because you got, I can imagine, you got some sea ulcers. I don't even want to
say
It's such a good film, mate. I liken it to this. Yeah, I'm going to try roller skating, right? I'm a bad example, but I'm going to try roller skating. This is great fun. And then 6 months later, I'm going to roller skate to Sydney. But I don't have all the calluses. I don't have 10 years of calluses like, some of these clubbies that have grown up on them would have. And you're just wearing your stomach out on the way.
There's only so many things you can do to train yourself and prepare yourself, and I thought I'd done enough, but obviously, like you said, I'd missed that time on the board that people had grown up with, and but I just prepared myself as much as I could physically and mentally as well. Set myself challenges, 8-hour challenges, 24-hour challenges, get the mental endurance there, and set myself the date and went on that date, and it was, it was quite a surreal thing, I just walked down to my local beach and instead of just going for a paddle and coming back in, I was paddling 800 kilometres this day, and it's, even the first leg of it from Coolangatta to Byron was 68 kilometres, and the most I'd ever paddled in my life consecutively was 40 kilometres. So I didn't even know if I was going to make the first leg. And I couldn't even ask anyone because no one else had ever done it before.
Jeez, you'd have to be the only one because you can't even sail. Maybe someone on a jet ski has done it, but that's under noise. Like to be so close to the beach, you've actually mapped out a track from Cooley to Bondi that no one has done. No. You know it, but it isn't even under. When you're on a jet ski, it's like, wah, you're not taking anything in. You're not smelling the tree. Like, you can't smell anything. You can't hear a thing. I'm sure anyone who's ever been on a board to see your film and to hear your story would really understand. It's a normal board. It's a normal JM paddle board, Yeah. What do they call them, prone?
Yeah, unlimited prone. So it was 18 foot by 20 inches wide.
With
and that was it. That's all I had. A couple of GoPros, a knife, a little bit of water.
How did you put your what did you have to get on Facebook? I'm going to ask you stupid questions because it's what I do. Would you have a waterproof bag with your phone in it or something to get on Facebook or?
I had a waterproof case on my phone, and but there was no service out where I was anyway. I'd just have to wait till I come in the shore to send messages, but. Yeah, and just had waterproof bags with my night's clothes in it, and that's it. I'd pre-sent packages to surf clubs along the way that I thought I might be able to get to.
Nice.
And so I had my supplements, but it took me a few days to work out how to strap everything on the board properly and strap my bottles in and the water in. So when I was getting pitched, I wasn't losing everything. And some of the days I'd get pitched early in the morning and I'd have nothing all day until I get to, the destination I was aiming for. And once I didn't get to the destination, it was a bit further than I thought it was, and I had to just sleep on the beach and just dig a hole and sleep in the sand on the beach. It was pretty chilly.
That was pretty chilly, yeah. What about, man, if I don't have lunch by 2 o'clock in the afternoon, just grumpy, you know, what's it like when you're paddling I don't know how you did it. Like, there was once when you had brekkie and you hadn't eaten for a whole 24-hour period or more.
Yeah, look, it was tough getting up in that morning, definitely, and knowing I still had to paddle, and it was just a slow slog. But, you know, what could I do? There was no chance I was going to give up. I just had to keep on moving ahead, and that was my destination, and I wasn't just going to live on that part of the beach for the rest of my life, so I had to keep on paddling, really, and...
Hey, have you heard of anyone else doing a similar thing? I was just thinking now, I would never go south of Sydney. You know, we live in a great place, the Gold Coast, right?
Yeah, it's amazing.
You would know more than me how, and I've seen it on some of the shark mapping that they do. They'll come around from the South Australia. The great whites will come up to, say, Byron Bay, and it's one of the last great white breeding areas. Yeah. In that cold water, and they go back. So up here on the Gold Coast, we're pretty, we touch bloody wood. We rarely get those great white shark attacks. You know, we've got netting and everything anyway, but whether anyone would try and go from Sydney south would have to be madness, in your opinion. What do you think?
Look, I mean, there's sharks everywhere. Yeah. You know, just... I don't know. I've thought about it going that far and going that way, but I thought about a long time about doing the paddle again, and it took me probably 18 months to realise just how lucky I was to have made it the first time. I mean, there's someone who's paddled it since going the other way, but they had full boat support and jet skis and food and massages and everything along the way.
Soft as.
Well, not soft as.
When
I mean, they still did the distance, but just being out there alone and doing these events alone, it's completely different than if you got someone with you or if you got support with you. I've done, a lot of different events, multi-day events, with and without support, and it's just a completely different ball game, and that paddle definitely was the toughest thing I've ever had to do in my life. Not just, the personal challenges that I went through, but the physical challenges and just dealing with everything head on, really took me a long time to come back to life. Right. I sat there for about a month afterwards just trying to work out what had actually happened to me. I knew something pretty special had gone on, but I didn't know what, because it was so raw and fresh to me, and I was just sitting at a cafe every day, nearly all day, every day, and just looking at people around and just trying to work out where's my place in this world now, and all I wanted to do was just get back on that board and start paddling out, because, the people are so negative in the world and, bicker about just little things that don't really matter. And, I'd gone from a place where I'd just found an absolute peace in my life, to come back to this, and I knew I didn't want to get sucked back into that world as well. I just still wanted to function in this world, but just be on my own path. So I kind of come up with a conclusion that it's not where I fit in this world, it's how this world fits in with me now. How these people around it fit in with me and what I'm doing. And, I'm on a path now, and it's whether, the ocean chose me for this path or whatever it is, it's growing, and I can't think of any other way of living now except trying to share the message of what actually happened to me out there, and trying to help other people, and try not to sound like a loony along the way of explaining what actually did happen to me and how it's, completely changed my life and my way of thinking, and what I know I've got to share with other people, I guess.
Right. Yeah, mate, that film, I'm thankful that you did that film for this reason, that everyone around you really may not need to ask you too many details about your horrible upbringing, right? Because it was probably the most horrific thing I'd ever seen and heard, and hear you, man, that bit when you're in that jail, visiting this guy, right? And you say those words, this guy, man, that's the bit for me in that film, where because you're actually leaning in the same spot, And I've got goosebumps right now. You know what I'm saying? Oh, I'm fumbling through my words, mate, because it's a tough subject for me because I don't know anyone who's revealed this story to me before. So to watch your film and see you revealing it to me, and your brother too. Your brother's going to be...
he's amazing, and
mate,
amazing, you know, and... I'm so...
I just want
so
to cuddle you both.
him,
I'm sure the whole country and the whole world would too. Like, you'll probably come across people like me that meet you and sort of skip over that section of your story because they've seen it and they don't want to ask you about it. It's like when you meet someone who I always liken it to someone who has cancer.
Yeah.
The general thing is you don't want to really ask them about it because you don't want to bring it all up.
Oh,
but people
for me,
often
it's
want
all right,
to talk
you know,
about it.
it's
Yes,
just,
yeah, people want
mine's
to talk
out.
about it.
Yeah. I mean, you know, I made the film for that reason. At first, when I was watching it with, you know, a room full of people on the premiere, I was like, wow, you know, I've just exposed my whole life here, you know, and I'm usually just, you know, cover those emotions up, you know, and try and hide it. And I've, you know, lied to myself and lied to others most of my life about, you know, things being normal and, you know, had that mask on, you know. I think we all wear a bit of a mask sometimes, and I got pretty good at it, you know, and I'm looking good on the outside but feeling a bit empty on the inside, you know. And, you know, so the film, I knew it was going to be tough at the start, just revealing my whole life and my family's life, you know, but from what people get out of it is... you know, it's something that's far beyond me and what happened to me and my thoughts and everything. It's definitely something that was needed to do, whether it was going to be me or someone else. Sometimes I wish it was someone else, and so I wasn't. So I wasn't in the spotlight. Not, you know, not that I regret talking about my life at all, you know, but you know, just sometimes I wish I was helping someone else with theirs and getting their message out there rather than it be me. I you know, my profile, I guess, is raised a bit. That's, you know, that's probably why I'm on here, but it's not at all the reason why I chose to do that. You know,
see, I could imagine now because of watching your story that, you know, when you've got those family friends. You had a mate in Adelaide there,
yeah,
and the mum and dad, they just seemed like, you know, everyone's mate's mum and dad.
Yeah,
you know, it just seemed really sweet. And they said it classic. You know, Damien came over and we knew he had some troubles with his family and yada yada, but he was always like just like another kid. You know, just trying to get along, trying to have a laugh, this and that. But little did everyone know the horror story, right?
yeah,
I think in me, right, there's been times when I've grown to this point. You know, there's even a guy that was a truck driver, a mate that I knew. He had this off-sider kid who never spoke. And at the time we were all sort of digging him. He never bloody talks, blah, blah, blah. After seeing your film now I'm like, oh, my God, mate. There's every, you know, he must be living, there's every chance he has lived a horror story.
yeah.
If I ever come across that again, you know,
Well,
from seeing your film,
just helps you think about it, you know, and helps everyone think about it, that not everything is as it appears. You know what I mean? Like, my brother looks perfect on the outside, you know. He's got his good family. He's got you know, built a nice house, wife, great job, all that sort of stuff. Kicks around in a suit, you know, professional guy. But, you know, there's a lot of things he's still dealing with, you know, and it's you know, it's just how people are. As I said, that's the mask that people put on, and, you know, I'm glad I was able to take mine off and just. You know, but it's taken a long time since a paddle to, like I said, to work out what actually happened on it, and just put tests in myself, like different endurance events, just to see if anything would pop up from my past. And, you know, of course, you know, I don't walk around like the Dalai Lama. I'm not floating on air or anything like that. You know, I still have my days and I still get pissed off at people and everything like that, like I'm a normal person. But, you know, it's about having that balance and just dealing with day-to-day issues, not bringing the past back up into today's issues, you know, and that's what I think is important for most people. You know, everyone thinks that they've got to be happy all the time, then they get so stressed out because they're not happy all the time, but being happy all the time, you're probably more lenient than people who aren't. You know, you just need to have that balance and you need to feel your emotions and be comfortable with feeling every emotion that comes through the day, and just learn how to deal with things as they come in and resolve them and keep on moving without hanging on to them. You know,